Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Universe of Magic podcast. My name is John. I'm one of your hosts. Man, this is a big one. And welcome to everyone watching online. And as always, I'm stammering over my words in the beginning. But I'm joined by my co-host, Alyssa.
Hello!
And we have Jeff here. There we go. And so... How do I even begin to explain the magic that happened this week? But other than I was having lunch with this lovely lady named Leslie, who happens to be the owner of our travel agency, Moments of Magic Travel. And we got an email. We didn't really think it was that much, but then we're like, oh, wow.
Then the internet exploded, right?
Right. So we were like, oh, okay, 2024. We got it early. We got it in May instead of June. Sweet. And then it kind of trickled from there.
Kept evolving.
Oh, wow. It just went in spectacular fashion. So, like, we brought you on, and Cove is here. I mean, I had lunch with that little guy. Oh, he is so excited. I love it.
Yeah, that was the reaction. It was like, that's what it was, right?
Wow.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. So we're doing this on the fly, and a quote famous television host, we're doing it live. So bear with us for any technical difficulties. But man,
I'm watching us right now.
Oh.
Hi, us. What's up?
I didn't even do the thing I normally do with Alyssa. But anyway, man, did Disney drop some bombs on Monday? And like I said to Leslie, I'm like, well, we were going to talk about something else. We were going to do kind of an informational thing, but man, they kind of stole the show. So
they went, what was it? Somebody made a joke. They were trying to take the wind out of, should I say it? DeSantis' sails and go,
I think I told you that.
You're going to lob a lawsuit? Hold my beer.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I'm taking credit for that because this is exactly and we've stayed away from this topic, but this is winning the PR battle.
We're talking about, but it is, you have to find the humor in it. Like,
I mean, it is definitely winning the PR battle, for one thing, and it's definitely, man, I don't even know where to begin other than we're just gonna hit one by one. They dropped 5 huge pieces of news. God. I am like on a roll today.
Great.
There was noise from the news.
Oh yeah, there was definitely news. All right, I'm a gaff machine tonight, so like we're just gonna get right into it. Update number 1. Here we go. Removing theme park. Yeah, I mean,
it ties into number 2. So 1 and 2, it's almost like I feel like you have to show both at once because 1 and Cove's going woo. 1 and 2 kind of tie together. But yeah.
So here's 2. Yeah, good to go days.
So yeah.
This is.
Do you have an AP?
I do.
No.
Okay, so Jeff and I, John, you don't have one either, right?
I do.
Oh, you do.
So,
okay.
So like this is huge for us. Yeah. This is definitely huge for us, and let's go into the details of update 1, and we'll transition to update 2. So basically, starting with park visits, January 9th, 2024, theme park reservations will no longer be required for date-based tickets. When getting a ticket, you can just go, which is... I go on this tangent. Every time. They're kind of removing the spontaneity of a vacation and just kind of a going with the flow thing. So thank you for finally getting it right.
My trip in November, I keep going back and forth. What day am I going to go to what park? And like, I have to have it planned out. And like, I really wish that this was happening before November. I'll still take it for January, but like that exact thing, I want to be able to wake up that Wednesday and say, yes, this is the day I want to go to that park, and just have that flexibility rather than
because I think I talked about it.
2020. Or 20.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, I remember when Leslie had the call with all of us that, hey, we're going to the theme park reservations, and this is how you do it, and this is the long form we have to get our clients to fill up, and blah 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 blah. This is back to just before that call, Leslie, which is wonderful. So going back to pre-COVID.
How time flies.
Yes,
And
right.
I look at life then and life now and how much has changed, and it's crazy.
I think I told this story when we did our trip last July. We called an audible. We were at the Grand, and we were going to go to Hollywood Studios, and we looked at the wait times, and we're like, no. So like it was literally a 20-minute process to change your park reservation, because you had to do it because my nephew and my niece had like day tickets, and we had annual passes. So we had to do 2 separate changes. So this hopefully will eliminate that.
But John, it kind of even goes back to what Alyssa said. You wake up that morning and you say, I can do this theme park, because there is the reality of a lot of people who wake up that day and they base their parks based on the weather. You know, oh man, it's a rainy day. This seems a good day to maybe do Epcot, because there's a lot of things to do inside of Epcot. Or you know, it's gonna rain, a wash today. We want to change plans, and this gives you the ability without having to be stressed out about saying, man, can I change them this late in the game? Because think about spring break, think of Christmas time, think about those times when they're heavily busy, and you go into a theme park change trying to go to Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, and they're gone.
Now, this brings to the question: are they actually going to like make it so that, I mean, you can actually park hop? Did they change the park hop? I did not see that.
I have not seen
it. Part of the announcement, they didn't talk about any changes to the time frame of when you can park hop, just removing the park pass reservation. So
I would think as we get closer to actually being implemented, they may go into some of those finite details like park hopping and stuff. Because if you think about it, if you go to any park any time, the park hopping time is kind of, is it not relevant right now? We just don't know sort of that right now.
Yeah, which hopefully they'll actually get to the point where they'll kind of release more trinkets as this idiotic battle, and I'm just going to call it what it is. It's just stupid at this point. Everything you hear every day about it.
So this number one, John, is really for, and correct me if I'm wrong too. This number one is really for the families or booking vacation that don't have annual passes, that have the date-based tickets. These are the people that are bundling into the packages, or people who may not be on property but buying date-based tickets because they're staying off property. This is really who that benefits. Number two is for me, Ali, and John for the annual pass holders, which is right. Is that a good time to transition to that one?
Yeah, I definitely think so. So going back to, the second update that they posted, we'll just go ahead and read this. So it says, in 2024, we plan to offer select days on which our annual pass holders may visit Walt Disney World theme parks without needing a park reservation. Once introduced, we will roll out these good-to-go days on an ongoing basis. This will be in addition to the recent update, which offers pass holders the opportunity to visit theme parks after 2 p.m. without needing a park. Saturdays and Sundays, Magic Kingdom Park. Good-to-go days may vary by park, and pass blackout dates and capacity limitations apply. So, like, it's basically saying we're almost back to normal. We're getting to that point, and I think that's a pretty big concession to annual pass holders, because like they just started selling them again, and now you're going to have all this pent up demand, hopefully. And I honestly think that this is going to be, I don't know, I really think this is a good change that they're making, because again, if you're a pass holder, you have the spontaneity of wanting to go to the parks without checking to see, like, again, checking the calendar, is there availability? That's going to be huge. I think, it's definitely something that I think will be definitely beneficial. I forgot to do this, and the owner of the agency is here. So we are brought to you by Moments of Magic Travel. For all your Disney theme park planning needs, hit us up, momentsofmagictravel.com, for your free no obligation quote. Oh man, you think I would have got that from the get-go? I'm a mess today.
Just sprinkle it in 4 times before we go.
Yes. Yes.
So going back to the number.
This is like Cove too.
Yeah. Cove's yelling at me. I'm being admonished by a baby. So
So the good go days, I kind of anticipate seeing them pop up in our, I guess, the pass holder calendar, similar to what we see like the bonus days now. They might say good to go days. Maybe they have a certain amount of days each week, John, that show good to go for any pass holders. As I anticipate busy times like during spring break, Christmas, or maybe some popular Saturdays having to have park reservations. But as long as, this is a start. This is a start, right?
Definitely. It's definitely a kind of return to normal, and I really do think it's trying to win the PR battle. Yeah. So where do we even do we want to go to slide 3, or do we want to add anything more to the third update? I keep saying slides. Because I'm really excited for the next one.
The third is different, but for those two, I think in a nutshell, we've got the amazing removal of the requirement of having a park pass reservation for our guests who have date-based tickets, who, let's face it, those are the majority of our guest booking resort packages. So for them, they're going to get, A1A. They get to not have to worry about making a park pass reservation as part of their vacation plans beginning January 9th, 2024. And then it'll also tie into those of us and to our guests, because we have plenty of guests as well who are annual pass holders who will have these good to go days, green days, whatever we want to call them, that will also not have the requirement of having a park pass reservation, and we will take it. Like, as we can get closer and closer and closer to, I don't ever want to call it a return to normal, because I honestly don't think we ever will fully return to normal. I think Disney going forward is just going to look a little different. And I think that that's going to be evident in what we see in one of the next slides. But I think this is a huge step to returning to a new normal. So it's a major accomplishment for them to be lifting up this. I'm super excited about it. I'm even more excited about some of the stuff that's coming in the future, in the next slide, but this is huge. I think
and Leslie hit it right in the head. I mean, let's be real. Disney had the opportunity during, COVID to test some things out that they probably had been wanting to for a long, long time, use their restrictive time and all that. I agree. The new normal is going to be some of the things that they found worked best for them,
I will say I'm just going to roll with this one because I'm really excited, because I am a
foodie
fan of this. So yes, here we go.
There it is.
Plans are coming back.
There it is.
Let's go. All right. So with that, we'll give you the details here. Time to eat. I mean, always. Disney dining plans will be coming back as an option for those staying at Disney Resort hotels who purchase a vacation package with us starting January 9th, that magical date, which will also be open for bookings on May 31st. Again, momentsofmagictravel.com for your free no obligation quote. We know our guests and families in particular have missed dining plans, which are prepaid and offer added convenience and peace of mind. Guests will be able to choose from 2 popular dining options, packages that will either include the quick service dining plan or the Disney dining plan, both with great value for families and young children, with access to many spectacular food and beverage options for Walt Disney World. So the deluxe dining plan is no mo, but I will take it. I happen to love the dining plan. It's just a thing where I can get away with. I remember my first trip at Disney World in 2017. We did not get the dining plan that time, and I remember watching an older couple eat dinner at the restaurant in Magic Kingdom. Why am I? What's that?
Be Our Guest?
No, not Be Our Guest. Not Be Our Guest. The one for the Jungle Cruise.
Skipper's
Canteen.
Skipper's Canteen. And I remember these people being like, "Oh, I'm going to order the steak every night because I got the dining plan." And for what it is, it's the most convenient option. There's constant debate on whether it's worth it or whether it's not. It's worth it to me.
It's the one time in your life when you're going to look at a given menu and go, I want the most expensive thing on this menu. Funny.
It's definitely worth it if we teach our client basically maximize it. Don't go to Tony's Town Square and get a burger and fries. Go somewhere significant and just like Leslie said, to take the best thing on that menu. I'm going to be interested to see when they break down the rules exactly what the price is like before, how close it was. It seems similar, the dining plan and the quick service. It seems very similar. Obviously, the deluxe the ability to eat 3 a day. Personally, thought the deluxe was a little much food, but there were some that loved it. I mean, it also is it's a big time saver without the deluxe. Some of our families to maximize their vacations, not spending all their time in a restaurant, right? So, Leslie, what do you think?
In terms of
the way you think it's going to come, is it going to come back very similar to the way it left? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, here's the reality. I think the majority of our clients really didn't tend to utilize the deluxe dining plan. We had some who did. The deluxe dining plan was great, but you had to use it in a really specific way. And it's not something we necessarily have to discuss here because it doesn't exist right now. But it had a specific way it had to be used. It was definitely for a specific, client type. So they brought back the two most popular, which is fantastic because we have many guests who prefer to just eat on the fly with quick service. And then those who want to include those sit-down meals. So the Disney dining plan table service was hands down the most popular component of the dining plan in terms of what we have always sold for the decade almost that we've been in business. So I think it's fantastic that that's what they're bringing back. They chose the two most popular. I think that when they implement it, it's probably going to look very similar. We have a lot of guests already saying we want to see it, with alcohol. And I think that, hopefully is going to be a part of it as well, because now for the first time in forever, we have alcohol in all 4 parks, which is fantastic too. And obviously that's something that started to change prior to COVID and everything else, but it's still significant. So I think they'll probably work the same way. If I had to place a guess on it, I'm guessing they'll probably price somewhere along the lines in similarity to where they were before, but knowing that every year there was always about a 10% average increase in price for everything across the board, Disney. So we should expect to see that too. We shouldn't expect to see the same price when this, launches for 2024 packages, which will be happening at the end of this month. But we should not expect to see the same price that we saw when everything kind of went cold all those years ago. But similar would be my guess.
So let's play a little prediction game. Do you think, because these were so popular, the free dining packages, do you see them coming back?
Okay, so we know the answer right now has been and the reason why I say is because what did they do? He's imitating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is because they brought back a special promotion for this fall, which typically the time that we always saw free dining is in the fall. So the promotion that they had actually for, the late summer or fall dates is called the dining card promotion, which gave guests, in lieu of a reservation that was discounted for the resort stay, it gave guests a dining card that would be used because obviously there is no dining plan. So how can they do free dining? But I think that coming back, what were we focused on question-wise here? I got off into a tangent.
Whether or not free dining will return.
Oh, free dining. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Apologies. So knowing that, that kind of it was people called it free dining. It's not free dining. So I think they'll pull it back in terms of doing free dining next year. Maybe. I think everybody has to understand there's still a lot of recovery that Disney has to do. And I think that that's something that gets very lost in the trenches sometimes, because let's face it, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, but they're still a company that has come through the most trying situation in, recent human history, as is the case for all of us, for all companies, for all humans. And like all companies, there's a lot of challenges that they have had to navigate their way through, and I'm sure deep financial impacts. So I think that it's something that they'll probably be looking at in terms of that very bottom line, which is the numbers, to see where they're going to lie with offering that promotion. It's probably is the wrong word. It is the most popular promotion in terms of how it's marketed and advertised in every and all Disney promotions for Walt Disney World that we know of. That's been the case in my over a decade of being in this industry. Anybody who asks about a discount, they're always asking about free dining.
Yeah.
So I think that they know that they've got that click. But, you know, we have to keep in mind, too, that free dining is not the best promotion for everybody. We tell our clients all the time. And that's what our agents like Alyssa and Jeff are so incredible at, is going, hey, this might not be the best pricing for you. We actually might not want free dining. So we have to see what comes down the pike. And that in the end, it just gives our clients the best price. That's all we want.
And I think we did an episode back when Chapek got fired, you know, that basically we predicted some of this stuff happening. So like, you know, the Jeff and Alyssa will laugh at me, but the other night I created this on the airplane. I mean, St. Iger, thank you.
Hold that up again. Hold that up, because I'm sorry. We talked about this at lunch. This needs to be put behind your head on the wall.
Yes. Well,
we
I don't know
talked
if
about
it'll
this.
stick.
I mean, you got to do it. Here we, Hope's giving his approval too.
Yes. So, I mean, but this is honestly like some of the best like things that have come out of this. Like, you know, I mean, you basically spurned a lot of your fans during the Chapek, you know, era. And now we predicted that Iger would kind of bring things back. It's been a little slower than I wanted, but it's honestly, you know, like you said, Leslie, Disney's a huge corporation. It's going to take time to kind of fix the damage that was done.
So here's, can I bring up, I've gotten 2 messages today about potential clients that we're actually looking at booking this year. But now with all this news dropping, are wondering if they should wait for next year. So that it's like a toss up. And I told them that. I was like, well, dining, for example, we don't know the pricing. So here is an estimate of what I would say you'd probably spend per day. And when we do get the pricing in a couple weeks, you can then kind of decide for yourself. Like Leslie said, there's probably going to be an increase on hotels and tickets and everything for next year. So,
and the dining plan itself,
right, from compared to what it was a few years ago. So it's so let's see question mark.
It's kind of a wait and see approach, though, right? I mean, or
it's do both. Let's go this year and then let's go late next year. I mean, best case scenario.
Yeah, I know. I had another agent text me, ask me if they've had people who have already booked, who have been asking also, should we postpone, because it's like a once in a lifetime trip. So I guess it depends on the person. So, and what's
actually, I feel like there's an answer for this. If their travel is this summer, we anticipate very low crowds this summer and very good prices, especially with, you know, hoping that they're going to do something with, you know, perhaps even additional summer markdowns. We don't know. That's not a guarantee, and it might not happen. But this summer seems like a great time to travel. If you're looking for something that's closer in, you're looking for some, you know, good prices on resorts and lower crowds in the parks. I think that going forward, you have to remember, when they drop all this stuff for 2024 pricing, we're about to see it in a couple weeks, the prices are going to be higher. On that same room that you might price out for your client, and for any of our guests who are listening right now, your agent can price something out for you this summer. And if you get a comparable date in 2024 that gets priced out, I guarantee you it's going to be significantly higher. So what you have to look at is it worth it to pay more just because you want to get something like this in terms of, you know, dining or whatever, or might it be more cost beneficial while we still don't have it back yet for 2023 to just go and pay out of pocket? And our agents can tell you how to maximize your dollars in the restaurants for now until dining comes back in the form of the
You and I even talked about it on Monday about like how I have a giant family trip planned in December. And I'm like, well, darn it, do I want to like go in January and remove the opportunity for my family to see Disney at Christmas time. I mean, that was
what
kind
I
of
got asked today was, they were saying, I don't want to wait till November of 2024. It would just be nice to have some of these perks. And so my thought
I would never let go of a Christmas trip. If you're not going to do it at Christmas the following year, Disney at Christmas is so amazing, so magical. We all know that. But having our guests experience that, like, I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Yeah. And so Leslie thankfully talked me down from that because, like, I really, because like I said, I'm a huge fan of, I mean, there's something awesome about when you have like 12 snack credits at the end of your trip, just going ham at the confectionery.
Get on,
like,
Goofy Candy
I'll take everything. You know, like, I mean, there's something magical about that because it's like honestly the best part of, you know, like,
I will be honest. So I've never personally had the dining plan. I've never needed to because I lived in Florida, and so for the longest time, and so when we would go, it would be quick weekend trips and stuff. So but now that I don't live in Florida, it's definitely something I would consider. I can see my husband loving it, that I can tell him, pick what you want on the menu and don't worry about the price, it's already paid for it. He'd be like you, John, let me get the most expensive steak and whatever he wants. So I guess him loving it. But at the same time, so again, I've never done it. However, I had friends who would travel to Florida, be there for a week, had the dining plan, and I'd go meet them on their last day, and we'd go to Fantasmic, and they had the 12 snack credits left available, and so then they would go get like 7 pretzels and like 3 popcorns, and so I got to reap the benefits of.
Give me all the grub. I mean, give me California Grill on July 4th. We'll do an upcoming podcast about magical moments and like what makes Disney so special at some point. So,
one of these
Leslie,
days,
you look like you have.
I was gonna say one of these days I'll have to tell the funny story about how one time I brought home Goofy's Candy Co. gummies for all my kids and didn't realize that I picked up the sugar-free bags.
Oh,
boy. No.
It's funny. Do you remember the days when they used to give you 2 snack credits per person per day?
Yes.
Man.
And it's funny because I'm in some of the message boards just reading about people and their reaction to what Disney has dropped. And, you know, there's people complaining, but they got rid of one of our snacks. They done that many, many years ago because it was such a waste and overuse of the snack credit and unnecessary money we needed to spend, because it's exactly what you just said, John. Most families, because there's such an amount of great food that you get from your meals, they don't use the snacks every day because they forget about them. They're not hungry. They're full. Most of my families would use them on hot days for like Powerades and drinks because they wanted that more than they wanted a snack. Then you get to the very end of a trip and you do what you just said, John. You go into the hotel store and buy every cookie and things that's non-perishable that you can take home with you. Like Leslie just said with the gummy bears. You know,
just don't buy the sugar-free.
Yeah,
that label is real small that says sugar-free. Don't feel my pain.
You were just being health conscious. Didn't even realize it.
Speaking of which, funny story. I brought Leslie some chocolate from up here in outside Buffalo, and I don't know if she successfully hid it from her kids, but that's a thing for a later time. All right. So now that we've devoured the dining plan news, let's move on to well, maybe, I don't know at this point. Anyway. So this is another big thing that I'm so excited for. They're bringing back the extended park time for guests, and let's read up on this thing here. So for those planning to stay at a Disney Resort hotel, we will continue to offer the popular early theme park entry for visits through 2024. This great benefit gives guests a jump start on their day. For those staying at Disney Deluxe Resorts and Deluxe Villas, will also be continuing to offer extended evening hours on select dates at selected parks through 2024. Early theme park entry and extended evening hours require valid theme park admission and a resort ID. So this is kind of like, we're still doing this like us, type of news, but it's still good because it's like, that's like, honestly, one of the best things about staying at a deluxe hotel at Disney. I mean, the moderates are great, you know, I mean, but honestly, it's the best thing ever to like have the time. Like when you see people fighting with cast members about, oh, I wanted to ride this ride. No, it's past admission time or past closing time. You have to leave. But I mean, that's all the more reason to.
But I think it's important to note though that it's not saying that they're adding time or it's the same as it is currently right now, because again, just poking around some of the message boards to get people's reaction, that seemed to be what people had jumped to conclusion to, that they were, finally, they're going to add an hour in the morning, or they're going to give us people are staying at the moderates, and it's not how it was prior to COVID, where it was all the time. Resorts could go to any morning or night. This is just saying that they're going to continue with it. So I just think that's important to know.
I do personally love that they changed it to every single morning of every park, even though it's only 30 minutes. I loved that change, because I feel, especially when you had to make the park pass reservations, had it been, it's only early morning magic hours for like Animal Kingdom, but I didn't want to go that day. I want to go to a different park, and then I had no choice. Or I had to go there and not be able to park hop until 2 p.m. So I think that was a great change. I have experienced the deluxe, the evening hours too, which is awesome, especially when you can get like the extra virtual queue for Tron or for Guardians. And so you could go up to 3 times in a day then. So I think I do kind of wish they would bring some evening hours for moderate and value, but I'm okay. I'm okay with what they got.
And Alyssa, you probably get this, but as a travel professional, most of my families are like, it's only 30 minutes. They don't understand how important that 30 minutes can be to the rest of their day. I try to frame it in a way like, if you can manage to get your butt up bed, get the kids up and get there and get Rise of the Resistance or Avatar, Flight of Passage done, or get those big rides out of the way, it makes the rest of your day, if you decided not to do Genie Plus or Lightning Lanes, it makes the rest of your day much more manageable.
Yeah.
In it that way, they understand that 30 minutes is crucial.
And it's funny, like I actually tested at Magic Kingdom one day the wait for Mine Train, early in the morning, and it wasn't that bad. And I was there right when they let everyone in for the, early morning entry. So it's definitely something that again, our travel agents will give you a customized plan for your park day. So that's all the more reason, as I transition brilliantly to momentsofmagictravel.com for your free no obligation quote. I'm just, it's been one of those weeks where I'm just like,
here's my pro tip for the day though. So if you want to do the early morning half hour, I guess, and you have little ones, maybe you're aiming for them to do all the things that they can do, especially if they still have nap time. We did the half hour at Magic Kingdom, and we busted out Astral Orbiter, Buzz Lightyear Ranger Spin, Tomorrowland Speedway, and Teacups in that 30 minutes. And Astral Orbiter itself is typically at least a 30 to 45 minute wait during the day. So you don't even have to go to Mine Train. Go do all the other things that don't have a wait, and then it's even easier to wait in that Mine Train line maybe later or something. So because you can bust so much out. So
and honestly, it's if you really know, even if you're not really experienced, that's what the great thing about using our agents is, we know the parks. We're gonna tell you, instead of going right at Magic Kingdom, go left and take advantage of all the other stuff like Haunted Mansion, Big Thunder Mountain, all those things. That's kind of what we do. But it kind of brings, I think the bottom line for all this stuff, and we're not even at the biggest update that they released, that they're kind of bringing back more spontaneity with your park days, which is, and kind of the less reliance on, the smartphones, because
we're not quite there yet, but
we think.
Oh, Leslie, it's a dramatic improvement though.
It is. I might not bump in and knock over a 15-year-old girl because she's looking down at her phone anymore in the park.
Yes. Yeah. So, should we just get into probably the biggest update with this?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Plan ahead with Disney Genie Plus. I mean, this is this is big, and we'll go ahead and just
Does it
read
have
this one.
Does it have fast pass vibes running off through that one?
It does. Like it really does. So again, simplifying the Disney Genie Plus experience. We have heard from guests that they would like ways to plan with Disney Genie Plus service and individual lightning lane selections before the day of their park visit. And while we don't have specifics to share yet, because they probably have to get the IT component fixed, we want to let you know we are working on ways guests may do this for visits in 2024. We want to give guests the opportunity to spend less time planning in the parks and more time enjoying the visit with family and friends. We look forward to sharing more details at a later date. So this is a giant Disney conspiracy theory I have with most of their technology. It's run by cats.
I don't disagree.
I mean, honestly, it's like, but it's kind of like if they can simplify things a little bit and just make it better to where you're not like trying to, I mean, just call it good and bring back Fast Pass Plus. Like just do it. Bring back the Fast Pass. I know you paid for all that expensive
That's
signage.
not gonna happen, though. You know
I know it's not going to happen, but I mean, I have St. Iger here. Like,
I would gladly pay $15 for the Fast Pass Plus.
I mean, yeah, like, I mean, there was something magical about just continue. And again, it's the whole looking at the phone thing while you're planning your park day, but like going back, trying to change if they do anything, make it so it's easier to change your, lightning lane or Genie Plus selections, because sometimes logistics don't pan out and you're like, well, I paid all this money. Like there was this whole video and we were going to talk about this at a later date, but a lot of the reasons why I wanted to start a podcast is because things go viral that are complete bunk. There was a video that was just like, I paid $3,800 for for my day at Disney. If you really know, and again, using a travel agent really helps, if you really know the parks, you'll know that sometimes Genie Plus isn't worth it. And sometimes you only get one, ride selection, or it's just, if you really know what you're doing. But a lot of the problems is that some of the stuff that goes viral is, again, not really. It's just not true.
Genie Plus has its place. Genie Plus has its valuable place. I really do. I've had families that I've booked itineraries for, made itineraries for, where we included it in there, told them that this is a day you want to do it. And other days, I told them how to do the park in the best way, and they come back and say, Jeff, that worked perfect. I didn't have to purchase it. It has its plus. It has its pluses. Certain times of the year is more valuable than others. I'll be the first to say that I can count on one hand how many times I've used it, but I'm also, like Alyssa and John and Leslie, I'm also a more experienced Disney park nerd that knows how to maximize my day and do it in a way that I haven't really needed it, if that makes sense. But I love this. I love this. It's like I said, John, it's got Fast Pass Plus vibes to it.
Yes.
One of my favorite things, like you, was getting up. 6 months, it was 6 months back then, getting up 6 months earlier and making my 3 fast passes for that park and having 3 before I got there. We've yet to see if this is going to be exactly like that. And obviously we're going to pay for some of the things that you're setting up, but being able to do some things at home in my pajamas before I leave is gold to me. So I love this. I love this one. I'm not sure how you Leslie and Alyssa, you guys feel, but this one to me was my favorite next to the dining plan coming back.
No, I think it's huge. I think it's going to be great because my biggest complaint, and one of the things that we've told our guests to put in their feedback to Disney, is we've lost all spontaneity. We've lost the ability for every member of the family to be able to walk through the park, not like this.
Yes.
As a mom traveling with my kids to the parks, I'm the tour guide. So I'm constantly sitting there on my phone trying to set it up so my kids can just walk on ride after ride after ride. But in order to do that, I am glued to this thing. And it stinks for me. It stinks for whoever that lead person is, because you're spending so much time engrossed in the app. So this will hopefully alleviate some of that. And I think that this is one of the biggest things to come out of the changes, that this is going to be fantastic to get some pre-planning back and give guests the ability to get off the phones.
Yeah.
Yes.
100% of the time.
It's funny you say that because, Leslie, whenever I do my dot the I's and cross the T's calls with my clients right before they leave, we go over their itinerary. We go over everything. At the very end, I always say the same thing to them. I said, don't be afraid to be in the moment at Disney. Put the phone away, take your kid's hand, and let them guide you to wherever they want to go. I said, sometimes people have realized they've lost that spontaneity with the advent of my Disney experience and everything. And don't get me wrong, I think we'd all be pissed if some of these tools went away. They all have their place. They're very valuable. But that's how I always close my call with my clients just before they go, 48 hours. I said, don't be afraid to put that phone away and live in the moment. You're going to have just as much fun that way than you would, planning every moment. So it's funny you say that because I feel the same way.
The question I want answered, that I know it's going to come at a later date, is if it does transition to like Fast Pass Plus was, where you can make the reservations ahead of time, is how far in advance are they going to let us do that? Because I'm hoping it doesn't overlap with dining, because that's going to be nuts doing dining and that.
It's always been fun for having things overlap. I think.
What was Fast Pass Plus before? It was 6 months, wasn't it?
I thought
so. It was 180 days.
180 days. Yeah. Just the same thing as dining. It did coincide with dining at the time. I remember having 2 computers at once.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I will say the one thing that I do hope, that things kind of do return is kind of the excitement behind a Disney vacation is the planning. Like doing your dining reservations 180 days in advance. I mean, who cares if, I remember our first trip, the excitement behind getting Be Our Guest breakfast, because it puts you right in Fantasyland right as park opening. Boom, done.
Or now even better, you wake up at 7, 8 in the morning and your travel agent did it for you, and you wake up all excited and boom, you're in Fantasyland.
I was just gonna say that for most people, the Disney nerds, we like the planning, but a lot of our families don't, which is why we are so valuable to them.
Yes.
We do everything for them. So.
But there's also the hardcore Disney fans who are like, all right, you know what? On this trip, I'm going to take a break. You plan it for me and make sure that it is to the T.
I think I'm just going to put it out there. Get your free application code at Moments of Magic Travel. Come on, Alyssa, do your thing.
Right
there.
I'm like backwards. I keep getting all mixed up.
My favorite families, Leslie, that I plan for are my hardcore Disney fans who say, Jeff, all right, I booked through you. Now you keep your hands out of my Disney experience. I want to do the rest. Those are my favorite families.
We do a lot of those as well. We do a lot of those as well. They want you just monitoring for promos and making sure they're getting the best price so they don't have to do that at 5 in the morning.
And if Disney does drop a promo, the big advantage of a travel agent is we do all the work. So again, I'm not trying to make it, an infomercial for why use a travel agent, but I mean, that's what we're here for.
But no, Jeff, you make such a good point though, because a lot of people won't book through me because they say, well, I love the planning, I love to do it myself. And I say, great, I'll just check that there's any discounts available. I have clients leaving this Saturday. She wanted to do all the dining herself. I said, okay, you want space 220? This is exactly what you got to do. And so she did it and she got it. I was awake just in case she had issues, but so go for it. And then the only thing that you can lose is just being able to make the payment. That's literally it.
Leslie hit it on the head. They want us to get up early to do some of that stuff, but everything else, that's their enjoyment. That's their fun. Because I know how much I enjoy doing it. I'm going for a short trip here in June to see my son in a few weeks. And I just love getting in there and tweaking things and planning the perfect day. And we all know what that means. Planning, I got this, and this. It's perfect, So
my trip in February, half the fun I had was just experiencing things like Fantasmic, like getting a Fantasmic dining package at the last minute, and just basically going there super early and just talking with the cast member as she tried to do a split wave. It was the funniest thing. It's just watching these people work, which the cast members, I've said it from the get-go, they are the magic. Like the cast members, I remember, telling the story that, it was during like the last era of the CEO, and just basically the top floor was on fire, but man, the cast members were down there making the magic, and that's all that mattered. And they need to hear that. I'm sure, your son gets that a lot, I mean, they basically need to be reminded how awesome they are. So, I think that's definitely, the one thing that I love to highlight on this show, and like every other podcast we do. So, hey, yep.
Awesome.
Was that all the updates?
All 5.
I didn't get the details of it, but I think the one other thing that they kind of like announced under the table was the fact that you can't make changes to your dining reservation after 2 hours, or prior to 2 hours. So that was a kind of under the table. They're like, but I mean, honestly, like if logistically things are going to work out, you can basically do things on the fly. So that's kind of like, it's not something that like the Disney community really was an uproar about. It was kind of okay, that's because there was kind of a hack where you can like get the reservation the next day and then cancel it, and they're kind of trying to eliminate that, I'm sure. But yeah, so Leslie, thank you. Yeah, we covered it all, man. We did it, and I mean, and again, like this was Disney definitely trying to win the PR battle, as you can see. Maybe
like they won.
Yeah, they won.
These two sides need to just go to the table with a bottle of rum and just hammer it out
with a bottle of Disney champagne.
Whatever. DeSantis needs to sit across. It's getting ridiculous. Like every day there's somebody that's happy. It's just
that's a whole
I wish they would just sit across and just drink and come to a conclusion.
Hug it out, man. Hug it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like we need to give a shout out to both Cindy and Bethany. Who
actually, you know what?
So thank you guys.
Cindy is watching. Yep. And shout out to my neighbor to the east, Bethany. So that's, and maybe we should do this more. Maybe I'll.
Can you say
there's my buddy.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
He is too pumped for almost 8 o'clock at night, man.
Right?
Yeah. There it is.
Hi, buddy.
So,
hey, Cove, how do you feel about all that Disney news?
Good.
That's how I feel.
So, the other big update that we want to share is that the Moments of Magic Travel conference is going to be on the Disney Wish. Will happen to be my first Disney cruise, which I am so stoked for. Kind of feel bad for Alyssa because that'll be with me for 3 days, but I try that joke every time and it just flops. But it's going to be exciting. I'm actually going to be doing Hollywood Horror Nights the night before the cruise, which is exciting.
I am not.
Oh.
Come on, it's so fun.
So my roommates are texting me, do you guys want to go? And I'm like, I am a wimp. I've avoided it for 30 some years at this point, and I don't know that I want to start now. So because if I go with y'all, I'm going to be the one in the middle, and y'all just have to like crowd around me, and I'm just going to be like this the whole time.
Alyssa, I'm 6'11". I don't think anything will happen to you.
You don't know that.
We totally got you. We've got
you. There's a Stranger Things haunted house again. It's literally in my nightmares for a Demogorgon to be coming at me. So I can't do it. Cove, that's not fun.
We seek out a Demogorgon and tell him to pop up behind her. No. So we do have this amazing conference coming up for our agents. For those of our guests who are watching or tuning into this at any time or at a later time, we do have availability for our guests to join us as well on the Disney Wish from October 6th to the 9th. We are super excited. It's a 3-night weekend sailing. So if you're interested, ask up with your Moments of Magic travel agent.
Yes, and before we leave, this is exciting stuff. Again, momentsofmagictravel.com for all your Disney planning or Universal theme park needs. So I think that's going to wrap it up. Leslie, Cove, thanks for joining us. This was exciting. And again, if you want, I joked with Leslie, maybe we should like sell this on a mug or something. I don't know.
When you came up with it, and then when you sent it to me, I probably laughed for a good solid minute.
I literally did that on a plane. I was like so cramped and uncomfortable on the flight home from Charleston. I'm like,
John,
I just have to preoccupy myself.
Put it on a coffee mug and send it to the governor's office in Florida.
Oh. hold my tasty beverage. I got that. So we'll put all our socials in the description down below. But thanks for joining us. Maybe we'll continue to do this live. This was fun to kind of
it's so much fun to do them that way. Yeah.
So we'll definitely do it. We'll do it live. Anyway. So for Jeff, for Leslie, and Alyssa, I'm John. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Thanks so much, guys. Catch you later.